everyone, welcome to Enjoy English. I'm Steven.
大家好，我是 Bernice.
Today's date is October 7th, and we're looking at pages 14 to 17 once again under Good Eats.
我们今天进入到我们的这个常春藤的美食飨宴的第2天的课程了。
Yes, not your usual dessert.Dubai chocolate.
它并不是我们平常呢常常吃到的这样的一个甜点啦。我们今天要讲的是杜拜巧克力的第2天的课程的这个介绍。
Get a bite that is full of Middle Eastern flavors.
就是说我们要怎么样呢？可以尝上一口呢？这个充满中东风味的这个美味。我们在第1天的时候知道啦，是有一位孕妇怀孕的这个女子呢，她创造出来这个巧克力这个公司，然后开始呢有不同的这个口味啦，还有她加了一些不同的 ingredients，不同的食材在里面，所以创造出这个杜拜巧克力。
Let's get started.
好的。
Not your usual dessert. Dubai chocolate. This business success may sound like a dream come true. The demand for the chocolate was so high that Hamuda and her husband had to hire staff and rent a kitchen to keep up. However, they still weren't able to meet the public's demand because each chocolate bar is made by hand.Hamuda insists on using only high-quality ingredients and makes sure that every bar looks beautiful. In fact, the top of each bar is hand-painted using edible paint. With high demand and limited supply, it is no surprise that other people are copying the bars made by Fixed Dessert Chocolatier.Many fake websites are claiming to sell these chocolate bars. They even use the company's name and the special flavor names like Can't Get Kanafe of it. These websites appear very real, but Hamuda's company sells its chocolate bars only at Dubai Duty Free and through a single online food delivery service.According to the company's social media pages, it doesn't have a website or sell products through social media platforms. So, if you want to try Dubai chocolate, be careful not to fall for online scams. It's best to either fly to Dubai or ask a friend to help you buy
it.This business success may sound like a dream come true.
请注意呢，这个第一个句子呢，它的这个主词呢，我们可以看到讲的是这项事业的成功。这个 success 这个字，确实很多同学也会把它误用成动词因为大部分的同学都听到 success 就觉得success 好像成功嘛，我们用中文翻译感觉好像是动词是吧？其实它是一个名词，它的动词是 succeed， 后面是 C-E-E-D， 所以要记得它的这个用法是不一样的。所以呢，这边讲的是它的名词当做这个主词，也就是这个女子呢创造出来的这样的一个杜拜巧克力的这个公司呢，她的事业如此的成功，而这样的成功呢，似乎对于很多人听起来 sound like， 记得这个 may 是一个助动词，所以你后面那个 sound 这个动词呢就要用原形动词，好像是 a dream come true， 其实它中间省略了一个 that 这样的一个字，它其实后面接的是一个名词子句，因为你这个 like 是一个介系词，介系词后面原本应该只能接名词啦或形容词嘛，对不对？可是你后面怎么看到一个 a dream come true， 其实它后面其实是一个名词子句的关系。
Right, and it says may sound like a dream come true because it's not necessarily everyone's, opinion of what a dream would be. So I like how it uses that word, 似乎, right? Like may sound like a dream come true. The demand for the chocolate was so high that Hamoda and her husband had to hire staff and rent a kitchen to keep up.
这是一定的啦，对不对？你看他们每天要做好几百条的巧克力，2个人也不过4只手啊，怎么可能做得了这么多的这个订单量呢？所以他这边就讲了 the demand， 我们知道这个 demand 就是大家对他巧克力这个需求啊 for something 对他们的这个巧克力，因为我们刚刚上面第一天讲过了，他们的订单是 pouring 是不断的倾泻而来啊，所以呢，因为他们的需求量实在太大了，所以呢 so high that 如此以至于怎么样，如此的高，它的 demand 如此的多，以至于呢这一位这个太太呢哈木达呢就跟他的先生啊两个人必须要雇佣一些 staff。我们知道这个 staff 讲的是全部的这个员工啦，好，所以这个字呢它是一个集合名词，我们就不加 s 了，并且他们还得再租一个这个 kitchen， 好，租一个这个厨房的目的呢都是为了要怎么样呢 keep up， 我们知道 keep up 就是要维持跟上这个进度。
Right. And here had to hire, when you have to do something 就是必须要做一个事情， so their demand was so high that they had to hire staff, okay, and rent a kitchen to keep up or to maintain their business. However, they still weren't able to meet the public's demand because each chocolate bar is made by hand.
所以呢，你看，即使呢他们也请人了，即使他们也租用一个厨房呢，来尽量的这个维持这个订单，好，来把这个订单完成。However， 然而呢，他们还是没有办法怎么样的 still， 所以仍然还是没有办法可以 meet demand， 就是这个 meet 表示符合的意思，我们可以用一个片语叫 live up to， L-I-V-E up U-P to， 你也可以用 live up to， 没有办法符合或者是达成某样的一种期望啦或要求，所以他们没有办法满足符合大众的这样的一个需求。为什么呢？就是因为他们的所有的巧克力呢，全部都是 made by， 我们注意这个介系词开始换咯。刚才我们在 day one 有一个 be made with，那是用什么来制作的，后面放的是你的使用的材料。那这边的 be made by 是因为借着什么东西来制作的 hand 你的手，所以它是完全纯手工制作的，所以它的速度就算请了很多人还是没有办法符合大众的这一个要求。
Yes, so demand in this sentence is being used as a noun because it's the public's demand. But demand can also be used as a verb in certain sentences. So I demand you to eat chocolates.
真好，如果有些小朋友说太好了，我真希望每天妈妈都这样子命令要求我。
But what's the difference between that and request? Demand is a little bit more forceful.
没错。
Like you have no choice. But if I request you to do something, I'm giving you a choice.
Yeah.
You know, I'm asking you to do something. Okay, so there's different levels of asking someone to do something. And then made by hand, another word you could use is handcrafted.
Yeah.
Okay, Handcrafted. Okay, so each chocolate bar is handcrafted.
手工做的。
Yes. Hamoda insists on using only high-quality ingredients and makes sure that every bar looks beautiful.
而且呢，我们这位太太呢，哈木达呢，她呢本人呢要求也挺高的，80%是个处女座的。好，她就 insist on， 就是很坚持做一件事情。她坚持什么东西呢？因为这个 on 呢是个介系词，所以你后面的动词当然要加 ing 啦。他使用的只有 only 哦，也就是说任何一点他觉得不 OK 的都不行。他只用什么东西呢？高品质的这些食材。我们知道这个 ingredients 就是放在食物里面的这些材料，所以他只用高品质的，就是说只要他觉得有点次等的，他通通都不用。而这样子呢 make sure 他为什么只坚持这种高品质的食材呢？就是因为他要务必的确保每一个巧克力棒呢都是看起来漂漂亮亮的。
In fact, the top of each bar is hand-painted using edible paint.
哇，所以事实上呢，你看 in fact 就是要强调它的这个高品质，而且巧克力每一个出来的品质都是那么漂亮，是怎么样的漂亮呢？事实上，它的每一个巧克力上面的 top 就是它的这个最上面的这个顶部呢，都是用这种可食用的 edible， 就是 something you can eat， 这个东西是可以吃的，而且是 hand painted， 是用你的手所画出来。我们知道 paint 就是油料画出来的啊，然后 using 使用的就是这种可食用的这种颜料。
Yes, so edible, this adjective, I use it all the time, and people use it all the time. It just means that you're you're able to eat it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then here, hand painted, you could also say painted by hand. This is what we saw in the previous sentence. It's just that the author is trying to use a different way, right? Using it as an adjective is hand painted.
Yeah.
Okay. That's something to look out for when you're writing in English. You don't want to use the same ways to say the same things over and over. So it's good to use it's good to learn different ways to say the same thing.
Yes.
All right, let's take a short break.
好的。
With high demand and limited supply, it is no surprise that other people are copying the bars made by Fix Dessert Chocolatier.
第二段就开始让人家觉得心情有点不是很好了，因为只要一个东西一有名呢，就有别人会开始 copy 你，就一大堆的 copycats 跑出来了。好的，所以呢 with 注意这个介系词。这个 with 这个介系词它其实有很多的意思啦哈，那在这边呢是表示由于，就是 because of， 因为呢他们的这个 high demand， 我们知道它的订单呢蜂拥而至啦，所以它有这么多的这个需求呢，而且呢因为这一个哈姆达太太呢她又是要求高品质的人，所以呢它的这个 supply 就是它的这个供应是 limited， 是有限的这个供应，所以呢 it is no surprise that 这样的一个片语呢就是指这件事情其实也不令人惊讶，就是你知道它的需求量是这么高，而且这个哈姆达太太她自己本身的这个要求对于品质方面这个要求呢这么高，所以它的产量呢它的供应是比较有限的，所以下面这件事情其实也不让人觉得有什么好惊讶的。什么事呢？就是其他的人呢就开始 copy 了，然后就开始仿制他们这间这个巧克力公司啦，来做这些所谓的巧克力块。
Right. So the subject of the sentence is it, right? And that's saying the situation is no surprise. Because a lot of times, a lot of students, they just wouldn't know what the it stands for.
对，
Yeah.
这是真的。
So usually it's talking about the situation. Okay, 那个情况,
Yeah.
right? It is no surprise that other people are copying the bars. Oh, so that's it's introducing some negative aspects of a successful business,
Yeah.
right? So high demand and low supply. Sometimes we use that word low as well, low supply. But here they're using limited, 有限的, and the opposite of that is unlimited. Okay?
无限的啦。
无限的. Many fake websites are claiming to sell these chocolate bars.
就有很多的 fake 出现了，冒牌货出现了啊，所以呢就有很多的这些冒牌的这些 websites， 因为我们刚刚知道嘛，它是在网络上面 go viral 的，所以呢就网络上面就很多的网站呢就有一些冒牌的网站，这些网站做什么事情呢？are claim 这个字 C-L-A-I-M 它也是有很多动词的意思，在这边呢这个 claim 就是你自己声称，你自己说的啦哈，他们就自己声称说，我跟你讲啊，我们公司也有卖同样的这个所谓的巧克力块哦。
Right. When you're claiming something, you're saying it's true, but usually it's without evidence.
对，没有任何证据的。
They even use the company's name and the special flavor names like can't get kanafi of it. That's kind of a bad thing, right?
呀，你连把人家的名字都直接 copy 出来，而且是一模一样的。
Yeah.
对，你就等于说你不是只是仿制人家，你模仿的还就是真的每一个都很到位。这些人也是很厉害啦哈，也只是说好处就是他们很厉害。但是想想看，你是辛辛苦苦的在你怀孕的时候，你想到了这样的一个 idea， 然后跟你的先生创立了这样的公司，然后每天那么辛苦的用手工去制作这些巧克力，对品质这么要求。当人家这样去模仿你的时候，你自己本身是你自己是那个 founder， 你是那个创作的那个人，你自己想想看你的心情是什么。所以呢，你看这些这个 they 就是指这些 fake websites，这些这个冒牌的网站呢，他们甚至呢就直接使用他们这个巧克力公司的名称啦，就是我们刚才讲的你觉得怎么吃都不够的这样的一个这个名称呢，直接就把它用在上面，因为这个名字呢是非常的 special 嘛，它的这个口味呢也是非常特殊的，所以他们就用这样的一个特殊口味的名称来仿制他们。
对啊，这个 even in this sentence is kind of like 他们连这个都在做。
对
Right? They even use the company's name. And then that can't get kanafe of it. We talked about that name yesterday.
Yeah.
And it sounds like can't get enough of it. So in this situation, kanafe, which is the ingredient that they're using inside of this flavor, it's a play on words. That's what we call it when we are using a word that sounds like something. It's a play on words. And it's really helpful because when you look at it, you know exactly that this flavor contains this ingredient. So it's very creative.
对，所以它这个名字就像老师刚才讲，它不但是声音，这样讲 play on words，就是这个字呢，用这个字来做这个游戏的这个，刚让你感觉说，哦，你一看到它，你就知道这个字就是它原本制作这个巧克力里面的食材。
Exactly. These websites appear very real, but Hamoda's company sells its chocolate bars only at Dubai Duty Free and through a single online food delivery service.
这个最后这个句子呢，感觉有点提醒各位，这个喜欢吃这真正这样子，他们这一家的杜拜巧克力的这些人呢，你们要注意了。不可以随便在网站上面相信一些不实的广告，一定要特别注意。他就说了，就是因为这些 websites appear 看起来似乎真的非常的 real， 真的跟真的是一样的。可是呢，你要特别记得，这位太太哈木达的公司呢，它只有在这个杜拜的 duty free shop， 就是所谓的这个。他们的这个免税店只有在杜拜的这个免税店卖哦，其他的地方没有哦，而且他们是透过 a single， 就是只有那么一家。好，所谓线上的这个外送服务的这个食品外送服务的这个方式来送这个贩售这个巧克力块，所以意思就是告诉各位呢，你不要因为想要吃这个巧克力，结果你看到网站上面哇，怎么这么多间都在卖这个巧克力，然后就随便的下订单，你搞不好被骗了。
Yeah, so here this verb appear, you could also say these websites look very real, okay? But Hamoda's, and here we use the last name of Sarah because usually when we're talking about someone in an official setting like this, in an article, we usually refer to them by their last name because we don't really know them personally.
Yeah.
And Hamoda's company sells its chocolate bars only at Dubai duty free. Okay, so what is duty? A duty is a tax that is put on goods when they're brought into a country.
对，就是当你这个像我们去出国的时候嘛，我们都会去买一些商品，那这个 duty 就是老师刚刚讲的税。
And duty in other senses means a responsibility.
Yeah.
It is my duty
责任
to protect you, right?
Thank you.
and through a single online food delivery service, 就是透过这样子的一个 service.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a short break.
好的。
According to the company's social media pages, it doesn't have a website or sell products through social media platforms.
好啦 ，according to 就是根据的意思。根据呢这一间公司他们的这个所谓的社群媒体的页面，也就是正式的这个 official 的这个版本的，它根据他们公司的这个社群媒体的页面呢，他们说了，其实呢他们并没有任何一个所谓的社群媒体的平台。或者是呢，这个所谓的 sell products， 这个就是卖他们的这些产品，透过任何的社群媒体平台，也就是说，他们并没有经过任何的这个平台来贩售，所谓他们的这个产品。
Right. So according to, whenever we see that in the beginning of a sentence, then you know whatever is following is based off of a source.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a good way to kind of start a sentence when you're trying to say this is based on like something that we know as true as possible. Yeah, because even when you're according to certain sources online, sometimes some things might not always 100% be true.
这是真的。
Right. So, but it's a good way to start a sentence so we know where this information is coming from. It's not something that you're claiming yourself, right? And claim, we learned that verb earlier in this lesson as well. According to the company's social media pages, it doesn't have a website or sell products through, 那就是跟上一个 paragraph 一样，透过 social media platforms. Okay, so social media page 是那个页面 and then social media platform 是那个平台。So if you want to try Dubai chocolate, be careful not to fall for online scams.
这不就是一个 warning 警告？ 哈哈，因为现在呢，我们知道这个网络的这个太多的平台了，太多的网站了，所以有时候呢会让我们这些在使用这些网络的人呢，我们也不太，有时候确实也不是非常的明确的知道说，哦，这个平台是真的是这个网站是 official 的，还是它是 fake。我们真的一般人可能也不是那么样的可以了解，所以他这边就做了一个警告啦。所以呢，如果你真的很想要试试看吃这个杜拜的巧克力怎么办呢？你一定要特别的谨慎小心了，不要 fall for。我们知道这个 fall for 就是信以为真，也就是上当的意思。你千万别上当啦！对于什么东西上当啦，就是所谓的这一个 online 网络上面的这些 scam。我们知道 scam 这个字原本就是一个诈骗的东西，是一个骗局，所以你不要呢小心，千万别落入了网络的骗局。
Right. So I really want to call attention to the importance of prepositions. Here we see fall for something, 就是不要上当, right?
Yes.
We also, if we had fall on something, that means like maybe there's something in the way, like, oh, careful not to fall on that. Okay, 小心不要跌倒，然后碰到那个东西跌倒。Careful not to fall off the cliff.
从这边这样咻掉下去了，
悬崖这样掉下去。So the preposition after verbs can be very important. And that's something a lot of my students have trouble grasping sometimes because prepositions are so small. They look very unimportant. But in the English language, I feel like sometimes the shortest words are the most important.
其实对他们 native speaker 来讲 preposition 也是不太好使用的哈。一像 on, off, in, at 也是对于你们来说，你们在讲这个话，你们是很自然的讲出来。
I think because we're so used to it, hear it all the time. But
对。
usually they make sense. Like don't fall off a cliff, right? And don't fall into the pit. 不要掉进去. But sometimes they don't always make a lot of sense.
对，
Like
这是真的。
sit on the bus. You're not really sitting on top of the bus. You're sitting in the bus, but we say sit on the bus. So yeah, sometimes it doesn't really necessarily make the most sense, like in a common sense wise, but you do have to memorize it. And the more you hear it, the more you'll be able to be accustomed to it and use it comfortably. But
yeah, see, get accustomed to it. 对不对？这个介系词呢，对于我们一般来说，我们不是真正在学英文的人。介系词确实对于很多同学来说啊，老师，我们这么多介系词，一下又 at 又 with 又 in 又 by， 到底是怎样？确实，就像刚刚 Stephen 老师讲，他们因为在这个环境里面，所以他们经常的听啊，经常的讲，经常的看，所以他们好像很自然的就会用出这样的一个介系词。可是对于我们不是没有这个环境的人来讲，确实你需要花一点心神把它记起来的。
And that's something I always say to my students when they say things like that. I understand that it can be very frustrating. I understand it's not always going to be easy to memorize these prepositions, but I always say the less time you use to complain about it, like, you know, the harder it's going to be for you to remember it. Like you might as well like stop complaining about it and stop saying it's so hard, it's so hard, and just memorize it. It's actually faster if you just memorize it.
老师的意思就是说，你别在那边浪费时间，你说啊这个很难啊那个很难，一直在那边 complain 一些事情，你其实还不如用这些时间赶快就把它背起来就好了嘛。
Yeah, and I know when I say that, they're like, oh, they get really angry, but it's true. Like the sooner you can memorize it, it's yours and you won't forget it.
Yeah.
Okay, and what is a scam? A scam is a dishonest scheme, usually used to cheat someone of their money.
对，你就是想要欺骗人家的钱就对了。
It's best to either fly to Dubai or ask a friend to help you buy it.
我们知道 either or 或有人念 either or， 对不对？这个 either or 的意思就是要不就是做前面这件事，要不然你就做后面这件事，就是两者择其一的意思啦。所以最好呢，你就是要么你就自己买一张机票呗，你就飞到杜拜去了啊，要不然你就是请朋友帮你代购咯。
All right, so hopefully you guys learned a lot about Dubai chocolate. And if you do buy it, make sure you get it at the official places and not off fake websites.
没错。
Okay, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.